Good morning. This is Dave Panslow, member of the 2019 MSRC Sputum Bowl Committee, and this presentation is to assist students in writing Sputum Bowl questions and how to use the different tools that we have available for those particular questions. First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Rick Zahodnik for developing this template in an Excel spreadsheet. This is what we use in order for teams to submit questions to the committee so that we have them electronically. So what you'll want to do, you can download this from the MSRC website. And so let's give our team a name. This is where you'll want to type in your team's name. So this is a Sputum Bowl team from a few years back, mucous membranes out of Ann Arbor. What I've already done here is I've typed in a question to basically make a point. Here we've got a drop-down menu. So here you don't have to type in what the category or the topic is. You just drop down and select one of those. Here is where you will type in the question, and you can see if you look up here, this question goes beyond the width of the cell. So the complete question is at the top. A therapist is reviewing a patient's chart and finds that the patient has a daily urine output of 350 mLs. What term should be used to describe this finding? And then the answer here is anuria. And then here we have a drop-down menu for the different sources as well, so you won't need to type those in. And of course, you would need to enter the page number there. The year is already on the template, so you don't have to worry about that. The point of this is just to show you that if you're typing this question in initially, it is going to run past the cell here and into the answer and actually into the reference area. Don't worry about that. After you complete the question and then go to this cell and type in the answer, then the amount of the question will appear here in a shortened form. So here we've got the drop-down menu. I have another question, so let me just type in something that's a little bit shorter. What year were the first surviving sepsis campaign guidelines? Not a very fast typer or very good typer. Guidelines first published. So as you can see, it runs into what appears to be the next cell. Let's put a question mark there. But then when I go to this cell to put in the answer, then you'll see that, let me get to that cell. So I could have just tapped over. Then the correct answer here is 2004. Then you can see I've still got the question in the appropriate cell for column C. And then over here, this is one of our new references, and I can just drop down to the bottom here in the surviving sepsis campaign. And again, it looks like it goes into the page column there, but it will allow me to type in the page number, which is 489. So that's how this is going to work. I think once you get the hang of it, then you'll find out it's fairly easy to use. So let's go on and take a look at visual questions. And in visual questions, what we'd like to have you do is, I think everybody knows how to use PowerPoint now. So here, what you can do is you can bring up a slide, insert whatever your picture is, and then what you'll need to do is go to the notes page and then actually type down here the category, the question, the answer, the reference, and then this was made up by the Sputum Bowl Committee. So you can see with this particular visual, what step in CPR should be performed prior to this maneuver. And so the correct answer here is cardiac compressions. And then we have our reference, and then you would put your team name right here. So that's how that is going to work. Here's another visual question. And again, when it's used for the competition, we'd have these printed out in this fashion. So the moderator would say, based upon the information in this slide in millimeters, how large is the total lung capacity? So what would be required here? And let's go back and take a look so we can see this a little bit bigger. So we've got values for each of the volumes. Then we would just need to add all those together, and we would come up with 6,000 mLs. Remember, it's asking for ml, so if you said 6 liters, that's going to be a moderator's decision whether he or she would accept that answer, since the question really asks for mLs. The last example here is something that we just started last year. Some people like it, other people's not so much. So this is a anagram. An anagram is a word or a phrase that's formed from rearranging other words or phrases. So what we have here, and it tells us what the category is, and that may not be much help. So let's take a look and see what the question is about here. What airway pharmacological agent is contained with this anagram? And the correct answer here is a nectine. And again, we've got the reference and we've got who created it. So if we take a look here, the words aunt, niece, if we rearrange those, then we will spell the word anectine. So in most instances, pay attention to the category, and also you're probably going to need to have the question, the clue, in order to come up with the answer. There won't be a ton of these, but there will be a few that are used during the competition. The last thing I wanted to do is to take a look at the rules and make a couple of points here. Again, you can download these from the MSRC website. Just to note a couple of things, the student teams will be required to submit 20 questions this year. That's up from 15 from last year. And the expectation is that you would use these question types. Name that disease, name that drug, name that device, name that whatever. And I'll give you a quick look at what the components of that type of question are. Using questions out of the Respiratory Care Journal, 2017, 2018, so the last 2 years. We have asthma guidelines, COPD guidelines, and the 2 new guidelines this year are difficult airway and surviving sepsis campaign. And then there's also visual questions, which are a lot of fun. So if you're interested in doing that, I would encourage the visual questions. I think the teams appreciate that as well as the audience. So you would need to submit 20. You can use any combination of these in order to fulfill the number category. This information here tells you who to submit these to. We have a new executive director of the MSRC. Her name is Joanna Coddington, and that's her email address. So you would just attach it to an email and send it to her. Here are some questions that we don't want to see you submit. True and false or yes and no questions. Multiple choice questions are not a part of Sputum Bowl, or ones that you would basically fill in the blank. That's my 7 o'clock alarm. Also, let me just, again, there is information here related to the contest, but also we've got information. Here are the references that you would be using. I guess I just want to point out something related to the name that type of question. You might want to close your eyes as I'm going through this here. I believe that it is on page, there it is. So here, when you're creating one of these name that disease or name that drug or whatever it might be, you'll want to have a minimum of 3 clues. And usually the clues are very general. So if we take a look at this example here, I am classified as an obstructive condition. Well, there's more than one of those, right? So if you buzz in, you're really kind of taking a chance that you'll have that correct. Question number 2, I am less likely to occur now than in the past due to antibiotic therapy. So that's sort of a stronger clue that would point you to bronchiectasis. And then, of course, I often accompany cystic fibrosis. And then this one has 4 clues. You only need to have 3 And so who am I? So with all of this information, it becomes pretty clear that the answer is bronchiectasis. So I wanted to keep this video short, so that's all I've got. This is, again, to help you write really good questions, because the competition is better when we've got clinically related questions and creative questions and fun and humorous questions. So if you have any questions for me, then you can reach me at my email address, which I believe is in the rule book, and I'd be happy to provide you with any assistance or answer any questions that you have. So good luck with question writing, and good luck in this year's Sputum Bowl.